welcome to Deathmatch N Chill. My name is Dom,
I'm Colt.
and we're just going to go ahead and hop right into it today. We got a bunch of smaller stories that we're going to be discussing. This first one that we're looking at is something that's kind of flown under the radar because Colt, you just made it known to me. I had no idea. I didn't find out about this through any other means. That hackers are threatening EA by releasing parts of previously stolen data. At least that's the title at Gaming Bolt. Colt, did you want to go over what happened earlier? Like on June 10th, they stole all that stuff. Do you know anything else about that?
Yeah, the hackers breached Electronic Arts data servers and reportedly made off with full source code of FIFA 21 in the Frostbite engine. And thereafter, according to a new Vice report, they attempted to extort the publisher, an effort that met with failure. They were basically trying to ransom EA for the source code to their engine in FIFA 21.
Yeah, and that's pretty fucky. So they hacked in and stole all this stuff, which is kind of. I was just thinking that's kind of concerning on its own. You know, I don't know the nature of the hack. I don't know how any of this stuff works, but the fact that they were able to get into one of the biggest game developers and steal something as important as the Frostbite engine and the source code for FIFA 21, that seems pretty big. And I wonder if because of that EA is at all concerned about their security. Um, I don't know, but EA just really it seems like they don't care that much because they're not wavering, right? Like they're threatening to release all this stuff, and EA just doesn't care.
Yeah, and actually, Motherboard Vice's tech section reported that it saw a copy of 1.3 gigabyte cache released by the hackers. They keep sending messages to EA, but despite the escalation, Electronic Arts made clear that it's not going to play ball.
We do not negotiate with terrorists. Seems
Exactly.
to be their policy.
I feel like it's similar.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of hacks going on, lately. You know, because this Gaming Bolt article that I'm looking at references the CD Projekt Red hack that happened earlier, where that engine source code was stolen, and then also recently, I know it's unrelated and it's completely different, but Apex, Legends was hacked, and then we're complaining about hackers in Warzone and all this. So it seems like hacking is at an all-time high for gaming, personally. At least just my subjective opinion.
I would agree. I feel like I kind of wonder if everything's just reached a boiling point and the communities are getting pissed with how shit's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily. This could be a good thing, at some level because it might finally get these developers to put in some protections against this, some serious protections. Because if your games are getting hacked like this left and right, your source codes are getting hacked. Like something's not right, right? Something's not clicking. I don't know. We're not tech guys. We can't really critique too much of it, but it just seems like all these things are happening and not a lot of precautions are being taken. Do we even have an official statement by EA?
Not that I could find in that. The article I was reading was on PCGamer.com, and I don't
Okay.
see, other than them saying they're not going to play ball, I don't see an actual official statement or anything.
Yeah, it says that the hackers allege that EA has completely ignored their ransom email. Uh, I I don't know. Like this is just weird. They're not saying anything. Oh, and I guess 780 gigabytes was stolen total of the hacked information. That's that's a good amount, right? Like that's a lot of gigabytes. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like again, I don't know really fuck all about coding, but I would imagine that that's a shitload of coding.
Fuck yeah, that's more. I mean, that's more than my Xbox
Because you look
has.
You look at an average text file, and it's nowhere near a single gig.
Yeah, for sure. Well, maybe they just stole the download space, the entire download of upcoming Call of Duty or something. Kind of what it seems like.
Right.
Because yeah. But anyway, there are some other things that we were going to talk about as well. Since we're talking about EA, I mean, it might just be a good segue to go ahead and talk about the new Battlefield 2042 info that just came out this week because, well, it's EA, right? And Frostbite engine was stolen, and that's the engine that is used to run Battlefield, correct?
Yes, Frostbite is the engine that all the Battlefields and 2042 will be on.
Sweet. So they're doing some new. Well, they just released some new stuff. I think the biggest concern for you and me is the crossplay. So crossplay has been confirmed. However, it is a watered down sort of type of crossplay that we're not exactly too happy about because it's going to be splitting the community. Right, so basically old consoles will be able to play with each other and new consoles will be able to play with each other.
Right.
And you can't play together. And I mean, it makes sense because you're going to have the 128 player battles. I was under the impression, however, that might be like a mode select and it would be there, but it would be like grayed out or something for older consoles. You can't play that. But I don't know, I wasn't under the impression that the two generations were going to be split off from each other, because that's not the case right now. Like in the gameplay that we have, you're on Xbox Series X and then I'm on the Xbox One, and we were playing with each other on Battlefield 5, so I was just under the impression that was going to be the case in Battlefield 2042, but apparently not.
Yeah, it seems, from the things I was reading, it seems like they're actually different versions of the game, so I'm assuming player count's one of them, but I think graphically, for PC and the current gen or the new gen consoles, I think will be increased, and I don't think that the old consoles might not be able to keep up.
For sure. And that makes sense. Like, if that's the case, that totally makes sense. It almost reminds me of, you remember Black Ops 3? They were showing like the Xbox 360 versions and the PS3 versions of Black Ops 3 were just, they were totally trash.
Yeah, those were insanely different graphically. That blew my mind.
Yeah. Could they play with each other? Could PS3 play with PS4 for Black Ops 3? I can't quite remember if that was split the same way this is split.
It was split. I don't think they could play together.
Cool. Well, that makes sense. So it's just it's kind of frustrating because you are splitting the base, but I guess it's going to be more incentive too to get those new consoles if you can. But the question I have is, because right now there's not much incentive to get a new console. So I'm wondering what those lobbies are going to be looking like. I'm worried that it's going to be primarily like your lobbies are going to be taken up mainly with like PC players and Xbox players, because my main concern is that not a lot of people are upgrading consoles, and that I'm thinking that there's going to be like a higher percentage of PC players compared to other players, because not a lot of people are getting those upgraded consoles. But I'm wondering how that's going to work with PC too. Like, you probably need a certain processor and something to run. So is PC then going to be able to play with everybody?
No, they can't play with the first pool.
No?
They can't play with Xbox and Xbox One and PS4. They're strictly with the Series X and S, and PS5.
Fuck yeah. Well, I'm sorry, Cole. That's good for me. At least if I don't have a new console by then. I kind of want to, though, because of the 128 battles. Like, I'm not going to lie. But, going that route, I mean, there was that leak by, damn it, Todd or Tom? I can't remember. Henderson.
Tom.
I keep thinking. Okay, I think I keep wanting to say Todd because there's another Todd in gaming. What's his name? Todd.
Dude from
I think
Bethesda?
he's the leader of. Yeah, the Bethesda dude.
Todd Howard,
But
I
anyway,
believe.
so he was, yes, Todd Howard. Yeah, that's the one I keep getting mixed up. But like this, so this Tom Henderson leaked that early playtesting was suggesting that the tornadoes get super repetitive and they're not enjoyable. Was the gist of the feedback he was relaying, and that has me kind of concerned. I was concerned about the tornadoes. However, my initial impression was that it wasn't going to be like an every map sort of thing. It was going to be kind of rare. He's saying that it's much more frequent, and that it's it destroys the map, kind of.
Right.
But who knows? I mean, what kind of people were playtesting this? Were these like professional streamers? Were these game developers? Were these just average Joes? We don't really know whose feedback this is.
Right.
You would assume it's somebody that knows what they're talking about, hopefully.
Also, kind of on topic with Tom Henderson, he also tweeted 2 days ago that the Battlefield 2042 technical playtest has been delayed to August.
What?
Yeah. And I feel like I saw something where that could be in coordinates to potentially some of the tornado effects and shit like that.
Is that technical playtest? Is that like, that's not a beta, is it? That's some other thing?
Yeah, the technical playtest will be like behind closed doors or with they might get a few people like streamers, YouTubers, things like that to potentially play it, but usually the technical playtest will be before the beta.
Okay. So they can iron out some things. I mean, hopefully, one of my concerns is that if they're going for these massive natural disasters as the levolution effects and people hate them, and let's just say they tone it down and they get it to a balance that everybody can agree with, like a sandstorm comes in once every 2-3 matches or whatever, whatever that balance is. We lost out on other levolutions. You know what I mean? If they put all their eggs in one basket with these natural disasters, I really hope they didn't. I hope there's other effects like, skyscrapers coming down or something, because I'm worried that these natural disasters aren't going to go over well, and then we're going to have to we're going to have to downsize on them. This is what I'm trying to say.
Right. I would imagine that they haven't. I mean, I don't know about the skyscrapers coming down because I know that was in the Shanghai map.
Yep.
Battlefield 4. That was kind of that map's tornado in a sense, so I don't think there would be anything like that, but I think your typical Battlefield destruction will still be there for each map, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. I hope so. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see more. I mean, next week is the Battlefield, the EA Play, right? Where we get actual gameplay and we get a lot more details on the 22nd. Right? I don't think that date's been changed.
I believe so. I believe it still is.
Sweet. Also, in this, they were talking about different maps, vehicles, AI soldiers. Okay, the AI soldiers was one that was tripping me up a little bit. There were some reports coming out that they were better than actual players, but I don't know how I feel about that. Was there anything else that came out new for Battlefield? I feel like there was, and I'm trying to look at the article and I can't find it right now. Class restrictions.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that level cap came out with something I saw that every class can have some sort of RPG. But it would take the place of say you're playing as the assault character that would have ammo, the ammo crate. It would take the place of the ammo crate.
Okay, so you wouldn't be able to do your class ability.
Right, which I'm kind of glad that's a thing, especially with whoever can supply ammo, because that makes me think back to Modern Warfare 2 with the one-man army perk. Because if you're doing that, you could just throw down your supply crate and take your rockets and basically have unlimited rockets.
True. Yeah, that's true. I see. I'm in love with Battlefield 4. I think that thing got it perfect in terms of balance with the classes and everything. And my thing is, I don't know why they didn't just stick with that formula. Like, I don't know how I feel about every class having access to everything. Because we know, for example, with Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they went that way with their multiplayer, and their multiplayer was absolute garbage. And I think that was one of the reasons. And I'm worried that this is going to turn into a meta. You know what I mean? There's going to be a gun meta, and it's going to be like one or two guns at the top, and that's what I'm really worried about. Because in other Battlefield games, there's some classes that clearly have better guns. You know, for Battlefield 4, for example, assault rifles are fucking beast. However, you have to play as assault, which is the medic in that game, to use them. But now everybody's gonna have access to this and launchers. Ah, I'm very skeptical about how that's gonna play out.
Yeah, I could see there being like a gun meta, but at the same time, I feel like it'll still be different than Call of Duty just because the scale of the maps and like the scale of the fights themselves. That I feel like that could change how people play. Like you're still gonna have your snipers that want to hit those like 2,000-meter headshots, and
Yeah,
then I don't know. I guess it just being a Battlefield community being different than the COD community, I feel like there's less of a risk for like a set gun meta.
for sure. And hopefully, there's tons of guns. Hopefully, they really blow me. I want them to blow us away next week. And if they tell us how many guns are in the game, I hope it's a fuck ton. I hope there's tons of attachments. Because I want there to be a ton of different options. You know what I mean? One of the downsides, I think, of multiplayer gaming nowadays is that with some multiplayer games, the balance for online has really been rocky. It's really been ruined. So, like, for example, Modern Warfare 2019, there was a time where all you could use was an MP5 or an M4 if you wanted to do well.
Right.
And I don't want this to fall into that trap. And one thing I love about Battlefield is every gun had a niche. You know, every gun had a specific role that it was good at. And I hope they find a way to keep that at the same time as being universal, because I have a feeling I'm going to get in here and just not want to use anything else but assault rifles. And that's really what I'm worried about, you know, about those diminished roles, because that's something that's awesome about Battlefield.
Right.
But we shall see.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still hyped for it. I mean, it could end up being a bust.
I'm so hyped.
The game, I'm still hyped for
Yeah.
the game for sure.
I'm so hyped, but I have I'm trying not to get too hyped, because I know the way that game developers have been kind of fucky lately, and they do not by any means have a steady track record. Yeah, you know, like sometimes they come out with something that's awesome, and then the next game is trash. Like I'm thinking of Battlefield Hardline, you know, the Call of Duty Ghosts of the Battlefield franchise. That game sucked, and it was right after arguably the best one in the series. So we'll see. Was there anything else with Battlefield 2042 that came out this week? I know there were a few things. Can't remember. I know they confirmed more specialists. I am kind of worried about the specialist mechanic. I think it was Level Cap that I was watching where he came out with a video worried about specialists as well, in that they're introducing more specialists as a way of like having more costumes and outfits, kind of like Call of Duty. I really hope it doesn't go that way, because I love generic soldiers. I don't like characters. You know, you're going to have 10 of the same person running around in a map. It just, I don't know. It doesn't sound like Battlefield to me. What do you think about that, actually?
Honestly, I'm in the other camp. I'm stoked for it. But I'm also
Okay.
more of like, I wouldn't say an RPG player, but customization gets me. Like, I'll throw money at games all day long if there's like awesome customization. And just like,
Yeah,
I
for
like
sure.
being able to have
Yeah.
like my unique, well, as unique as you can be, like character.
Yeah, I see. I love customization as well, and I almost feel like having a character gets in the way of customization a little bit. For me, anyway, because if I don't like this guy's face, I can't do it. If I don't like
That's
this person's voice,
that's
or
true. It
out.
would be better if it was fully customizable. Like maybe I'd almost rather your specialist has maybe a name, but you could still maybe change the way they look, like their actual physical appearance, and then change like their outfits and shit.
Mhm. You know, and since I just mentioned Call of Duty Ghosts, I think Call of Duty Ghosts actually had a really good model for customization. That hopefully, if Battlefield goes that way with it, I will totally be down. Where you have your class and it's like it's a unique individual, but you do, but the, but that person's individuality is kind of toned down. Like your outfit really stands out, and the other things you put on the character really stand out rather than just that specialist. Because one thing that I think Call of Duty fell prey to is that you can look at someone and know exactly what character they are,
Right.
and that's something I didn't like. I didn't think that was too fun. Like in Warzone, you still have that chick running around. I don't know the name, that had that solid black
Rose.
outfit that everybody was fucking using. Yeah, and that was annoying. And you know exactly who it was. As long as they make them kind of generic enough, I think I'll be on board.
Yeah. I'm stoked for it either way. I mean, it would be a little bit better, but no, I would also agree with you with the Ghost. I feel like Ghosts did really good with the customization, and I don't know, Modern Warfare 2019 and then Cold War. I feel like they've done pretty well with their customization as well.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Cold Wars, because I didn't really play
Right.
that at all. But I knew 2019's, and then the one that I hated the most was Black Ops 4. Like I liked that game, but the outfits and shit in that were just stupid in
Yeah,
my
I didn't really
opinion.
care for it either. There wasn't anything that was like, oh, this is badass. Most of it was like, well, I guess that's cooler than what I have.
Yeah, yeah. You get the bunny ears, hopping around in blackout. That was the kicker
Yeah.
for me. Um, but anyway, did you have anything else you want to talk about Battlefield before we move
No,
on?
I think I'm good. I don't have anything else.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that EA Play next week, and fuck, I might. God, that. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that live, and I'm gonna take some heavy notes. Super stoked. But anyway, and other things that came out. This was pretty. Controversy erupted on Twitter about this whole get good movement. I'm on Kotaku right now, and the title of this is Microsoft calls for an end to get good. So just some backstory. How this came up was Psychonauts 2 is a game. It hasn't come out yet, but they're going to implement an invincibility um, option in the game. So basically, at any time, you can turn on this invincibility and not die. And their main defense was because they wanted, I guess, to be all inclusive. They wanted to have as many people finish the game as possible, and just to see all the cutscenes and to experience the story. Now, for me, that okay. Well, okay. Before we get into that, on Twitter, people were getting mad. Some people were super pissed off about it, saying you just need to get good, and they were being pretty toxic. But then on the other hand, you had people radically defending this in a way that I just don't feel was productive, because some people, like this one person posted on there that they were a game reviewer and that they only ever review their games on easy mode. And so this invincibility toggle will just make it easier. Now, on the one hand, I think we can all agree get good is fucking toxic. You know what I mean? It's a toxic mentality when people just say, just shut the hell up and get better, and you suck, you're trash, you just need to grind it out and get better at these things. Now that's toxic. I think we can generally agree with that. But I think there is something to be had in on that side, where you can say, maybe we shouldn't put it. Well, it's kind of up to the game developer, but you need to figure out the way that the game is meant to be like experienced, and because you don't walk into, for example, a horror movie. Some people have a hard time with horror movies, but does that mean we should automatically, censor horror movies or make them easier to watch? I don't know. And I kind of see the same thing with these games. You know, Dark Souls is notorious for being incredibly difficult, and I think that's part of its selling point too. You know what I mean? And if they put an invincibility option into Dark Souls, I would be kind of upset. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I
I know we were talking about that a little bit before, but
I don't know. I think I'm like split, I guess. Like I feel like if you're reviewing it, like you said, if you're reviewing it and you're reviewing it on easy or with like an invincibility like toggle on, I don't know if you're necessarily getting the full game, but at the same time, like I think for accessibility, it's got to be there because you have to think too. There's people that want a game that might not be able to. They have physical or mental disabilities that doesn't allow you to keep up with like a really hard game. So I mean, you still want those people to be able to play it. So I mean, I feel like it's got to be there. It's just on everyone else to not exploit it, I suppose.
yeah, for sure. And I think another issue that actually I was just thinking about with the difficulty in your reviewing games is how can you give accurate feedback unless you're playing the game on normal or hard. You can't say this game isn't balanced. You can't say, oh, this boss is too difficult or something, because if you're playing on easy mode, you're not experiencing it that way. You know what I mean? And let's just say, I think most people, when they start up a single player game, they click normal difficulty. I don't know about you. That's been me and most people that I know. They just like click normal. You know, and if normal's too hard,
right. Usually I'll play normal on like pretty much all my games, with the exception of like Call of Duty campaigns. I always go straight to veteran on those.
For sure. Yeah, and that's because, you know, you're experienced with FPS. You're good with that, and that's awesome. But I think for the majority, I think we can even say the majority of people don't play their games on easy first try. So it doesn't make sense for me, if you're going to be like a game reviewer, or if you're going to be reviewing the game or critiquing the game, I think you got to play on normal or hard. Personally, if you're playing on easy, I don't think you can give accurate you can't suggest the game to a wide audience. I think maybe we could agree on that.
I agree for sure.
Cool. And then the other thing is, should games like Dark Souls, well, so in this Kotaku article, they reference Dark Souls 3 and they reference Cuphead. Do those games, because the next step is saying that those games should implement some sort of easy mode. Because Dark Souls 3, I think, is probably one of the most exclusive games I've played. I mean, a lot of people are just not going to have the patience, or not going to have the. Okay, first of all, I better make this clear. I did not have patience playing Dark Souls 3. I broke like 2 controllers playing that fucking game. But most people aren't going to do that. Most people are going to reach that hard boss that takes them 6 hours to beat and not want to progress further. So should games like that implement an easier mode?
I mean, yes and no, because yes, it would help with the accessibility, but at the same time, if the game's kind of already known for being more difficult, then I just keep going the way you're going. And if someone who wants an easy mode decides they want to play it, then just know this isn't going to be easy.
Yeah, for sure. And I can I can get behind that. And then also, well, Microsoft, their original tweet was beating the game on the lowest difficulty is still beating the game, is what they said. Do you agree with that statement?
I do.
I don't know if I do.
I do, because still technically you beat the game. The only difference is like you just didn't beat it on the harder difficulty. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't really play campaigns, so
Yeah. No, I feel you. Because in direct reference to, because they were using this in direct reference to Psychonauts 2, that says their tweet said with the invincibility toggle on still counts as beating the game. And I was gonna say I don't think that does, actually, because in older games, if you put on, like Grand Theft Auto for instance, if you put on an invincibility cheat, your achievements were disabled. You couldn't earn fucking trophies if you put in cheats. So just because that same mechanic is implemented as a legitimate mechanic doesn't mean that it still holds the same water. You know what I mean? Like, to me, if you platinum Psychonauts 2 with invincibility on, I don't know if you really did. You know what I mean? Because what's the difference between that and cheating? Because invincibility used to be seen as a
Right.
cheat when it wasn't.
I don't know what the
a game
achievements or the trophies, because it PlayStation exclusive, right? No, it's not.
Psychonauts 2?
It's not.
I don't know, actually.
But
Okay.
I don't know what the achievements and or trophies would be for it, but I'm assuming that you probably wouldn't be able to get like the top platinum or like the top achievement for it because you're doing it that way. I'm sure it'd be like Call of Duty, and it'll be like beat the game on easy, beat the game on hard, beat the game on veteran.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and you know, I understand where people come from too, where they're like, you know, you can pick whatever difficulty you want. If you don't want to play it on easy, don't fucking play it on easy. If you don't want to use invincibility, don't play it with invincibility. However, in moments of weakness, those options become extra appealing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's been some times where I totally.
Oh, dude, I'm
then,
actual dog, like absolute dog shit at FIFA, but I enjoy playing it. That's one game that I pretty much keep on easy.
Yeah, for sure. I can see it because you're just trying to chill, just trying to have fun. And you know, so am I. But like, okay. Not that I want to dwell on this too much longer because it's kind of it's very wishy-washy and it's kind of up to the developer, you know, at this point. But then another article called for a button that allowed players to skip boss fights, and it was kind of, I think it was thrown in as kind of a snarky suggestion. And this person that mentioned this was mentioning how they got such toxic feedback because of this. They put in calling for a button that allowed players to skip boss fights. But what if that could be? I mean, if we go this route where, you know, these easy modes are adopted, these invisibility modes are adopted. I mean, it could very well be the case. Like, oh, do you want to skip this boss?
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? And at that point, is it? I mean, that's not beating a fucking game if you skip the boss. In my personal opinion, you didn't beat the fucking game. Okay, you saw all the cutscenes. That's different.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I know. You know, at the end of the day, it probably just comes down to how the game developers want their game to be presented. You know, what kind of experience are they trying to present? Because some games, like definitely From Software, I think they get a kick out of being sadistic, and they want their games to be super difficult. That's what they're known for. People like it. Like Bloodborne is a huge game when it came out. That was a lot of people were super into it, and that's a terribly difficult game. And I think, you know, it comes down to just the way that the game developers want their games to be played. However, I will draw the line, and I will get kind of irritated when people, if it gets to the point where people are saying, hey, From Software, you need to make your games easier, then I'll get pissed off. Right now, it's just an innocent it's just an innocent ability that they're adding for Psychonauts 2, which I didn't play the original Psychonauts, but it looks kind of cartoony. It looks more like a kid's game. That's fine. That's cool. No problem. You know, but if it starts getting to the point where they're going to call for games to become easier, then I'm going to have
that's
But yeah. Anyway, did you have any other thoughts on that or anything?
I don't think so.
All right, cool. Well, the last thing that I had in mind was talking about Gfuel for just a moment. So Gfuel, as we know, is like I think it's the only energy supplement that I ever see advertised for gamers on YouTube or pretty much anywhere. I mean, every fucking gamer seems to have a Gfuel code, like every YouTuber that I see. And one of the guys that I like to watch on YouTube, his channel is called More Plates, More Dates, and he's a very intelligent bodybuilder, and he does these supplement reviews. And he went in depth on Gfuel and totally trashed it as a product. Now, of course, a lot of these things are difficult for me to go over and to dissect because it's a lot of it has to do with like biochemistry and the way certain compounds act in your body. But essentially, the general consensus was that G Fuel was kind of a just a marketing ploy and isn't actually a quality product. Now, I just kind of wanted to call attention to that because it's the first ever criticism of G Fuel I've ever seen, and it's by someone that I trust, and it's by a credible source, in my opinion. So I just thought that was funny. I just wanted to bring it up. You know, not that it's gonna go anywhere, but that video now has like 200,000 views. It came out a couple days ago. And he basically just trashed it, and he said that people who are marketing this stuff are just trying to get a paycheck and aren't really looking at the quality of the product. And have you tried G
Yeah,
Fuel?
I drink it a fair amount actually.
Oh, okay. How do you like it?
I think it tastes good. I don't know if I see an actual
Okay,
like,
cool.
I don't know if I notice like a noticeably like, especially when it comes to like the focus and the increased reaction times or whatever it says. I don't know if I see a boost or anything to any of that, but I know it does decent with replacing like caffeine, like drinking sodas and shit. Like I can still feel the energy boost from it.
Yeah. And that's good. Yeah, I mean, it tastes good. You're getting something out of it. Yeah, he was specifically addressing I think the choline that's in it, which is supposed to help with cognitive ability, and that the choline that they were using in G Fuel is like the lowest quality choline you can get, and it's in such a small amount that it wouldn't make it wouldn't have like an actual tangible effect for performance enhancement. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Now, of course, supplements aren't regulated by the FDA. You can kind of just sell whatever you want as a supplement, and it doesn't have to be checked. But I just wanted to call attention to that because I thought it was pretty interesting, and we'll see if anything comes of it. We'll see if it garners more attention or anything. But because right now, I think if we're looking at supplements for gamers, like there's nothing else that comes to mind besides G Fuel, and G Fuel
definitely dominates the market. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a fair criticism of it. This is the first time I've ever seen anything about it. I didn't even think twice about it. I didn't even think, oh, let's look into the efficacy of this stuff. I just saw this video come up by a guy I trust, so I watched it, and fuck, he trashed it pretty bad. So, yeah. Anyway, that was really all I had to say about that. We'll see if anything comes of that in the coming weeks. See if it brings up attention, because right now it's pretty much gone unquestioned. But anyway, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. There wasn't a ton to talk about this week. Next week we'll definitely have a lot more because of the Battlefield reveal that I'm expecting to be pretty fucking.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know about. I don't know. Maybe a live stream. I don't know.
It's the 22nd is Thursday. Oh, what time does it start? I'm sure in the afternoon, huh?
Let me look this up actually. Yeah. Is it an EA play or is it like a DICE event?
I'm not 100% sure.
Let me see. So it looks like. Wait, but they're gonna tease a new Star Wars game. Okay, that's cool. I don't give a shit about that though. It kicks off on the 22nd at what time? No, like tell me the time. Oh, and they're calling it. Oh, fuck. They're saying future of FPS games as a whole again. Hopefully they actually talk about FPS this time and don't skip around the question and not actually talk about it like they did with the last EA Play. I was pretty bummed out about that. I don't actually have a time yet.
Pre-show starts at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Keep on it. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, so, alright. Cool. 11 a.m. Fuck. Alright. Well, anyway, we'll probably end it here, and we will see you guys on the next Deathmatch N Chill. Thank you all so much for watching if you made it this far in the video. And if you did, if you found it that it wasn't a completely waste of your time, go ahead and subscribe and like the video and comment down below if you feel the need to. But anyway, thank you so much for watching.